Good afternoon. Welcome back to College Knowledge 304. Today's topics are mainly going to be about the Super Bowl and team needs. As you know, the Super Bowl is tomorrow, and it is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Originally, I didn't think that the Super Bowl would be that good, but if you look at the team needs and how they rank up against each other, I believe that it could be a competitive Super Bowl if Kansas City can keep up with the Eagles in points. You know, we'll start off with the quarterbacks. I believe Pat Mahomes has the upper hand on that. So that goes to the Chiefs. If you look at the running backs, I believe that the Eagles have a better backfield than Kansas City. If you look at wide receivers, I believe that the Eagles are better than Kansas City when it comes to that field. When you look at the tight end play, that's obviously going to be Kansas City because you got Kelsey, and he's one of the best players in the NFL right now. And looking at the defensive side of the ball, I believe that the secondary's got to go to Philadelphia. And I believe that the defensive line, I believe Kansas City has a better defensive line than the Eagles do. So when you add all that up, it could come down to special teams play. And they both have good special teams. I would rank it even. So this game, it might come down to who has the ball last. And who wins the coin toss. It could even go in overtime. But I think that Kansas City is going to lose. I think that the Eagles are going to prevail. I'll say 38-35, the Eagles. Now, we also have some good basketball games on today. I know Marshall's game's getting ready to come on at 2 o'clock against Georgia State. It should be a good game. I didn't really see a whole lot of good basketball games today, but, you know, tournament time, it's getting ready to happen next month, and the season's starting to wind down, and we're getting ready to start conference play here in about a month or so. So March and April should be some good basketball if you enjoy watching basketball. So some team needs. I believe if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe you're wanting to draft a cornerback. You really need a cornerback one. Levi Wallace is a good cornerback, but probably not a cornerback one. More likely a really, really good cornerback two. And I believe that players you could be looking for would be Joey Porter Jr. I mean, Pittsburgh absolutely loved Joey Porter, so why not bring his son in? His son's a little bit on the taller end for a cornerback, about 6'2". He doesn't really have the best hands in college, but he's really good at pass defects. And I believe he could bring a spark back to Pittsburgh. It'd be kind of cool, you know, having another Porter back in Pittsburgh. I believe if you're the Browns, well, right now it's just a mess. I really don't know how you want to go. I don't think Watson is a great quarterback to start off with. I was never really a fan of Watson. I always thought he had junk numbers, meaning his team would get behind, and then later on in the games, whoever they were playing would put in their backups or go in to prevent defense, and that's how he would get a lot of his stats. So maybe a quarterback, although I doubt they'll draft a quarterback. If I was Cleveland, I'd probably be looking at a wide receiver, I would say. Maybe from Ohio State, one of them. They got a couple good wide receivers. If I'm the Bengals, I believe that I'm looking at the cornerback position, or another possibility that you could do is draft that left tackle out of North Dakota State. And if you drafted him, I believe you could cut Collins. That would save you some cap money if you did that. And also, you'd be reuniting your left tackle and your left guard, because both of them played at North Dakota State. So you'd maybe have some chemistry there. The players spent some time with one another, and they probably know how they like to play. But another thing with Cincinnati is you might need a running back, because we know the accusation against Mixon, and this isn't the first time that something like this has happened with Mixon. So if you do cut the ties with Mixon, you're going to save probably in the neighborhood of $10 million, but you're going to have to bring in a running back at that point. And if you bring in a running back, I would probably go with the one out of Texas. He's a really good running back, proven. I would want him in the second round, but if you cut Mixon, you're going to have to take him in the first round, because he's not going to go late in the second round. So that would be some possibilities for the Bengals. If I'm Baltimore, I got to re-sign Lamar Jackson. So let's say Baltimore re-signs Lamar Jackson. If you do that, you're going to go out and get a wide receiver, I think. Looking at your wideouts, that's one point where Baltimore, I would say, is a little bit below par than the rest of the AFC North. So you need to bring in a really good wideout, maybe from one of them from Georgia, or that Texas Christian, that wideout from there. He's really good, although he'll be taken probably before you're drafting, so you would have to trade up to get him. Now, if you don't get Lamar Jackson re-signed, here's the thing. You're going to have to take a quarterback, and you're going to have to either trade up really high, give up a lot of picks to get a really good one, maybe out of Kentucky, but you would have to give up a lot of picks to go in the top 5. So if I'm Baltimore, I'm probably going to draft a wideout and let Huntley be my quarterback for 1 year. He's proven that he can win, although he's not the best quarterback in the NFL. But he's proven that he gives you a chance if you would draft a wideout. And I believe in the second round, you could draft either the quarterback from UCLA or the quarterback from Tennessee, Hooker. And I would want Hooker. That guy's proven to be proficient. He's really accurate. Of course, that injury is really bad for him. If he hadn't had that injury, he probably would have been a late first-round pick. I just think he's a good quarterback. And one, if I could get in the second round, if I'm Baltimore, I would have my eyes on him. I think he fits the system for Baltimore a lot better than Lamar does. Because if you look at the system Baltimore runs, they're a little bit different than most people in the NFL. They run more of a college scheme. And it's proven to work for them, but it's a little bit weird. They use a lot of tight ends, a lot of running, and with the college scheme, you have to have a really good defense, which Baltimore usually does. So those are some prospects I would keep my eyes on. The AFC North, I think, would definitely help. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of prospects. I mean, maybe Pittsburgh doesn't want to go with Joey Porter Jr. Maybe they want to bring in Addison, I believe is his name, from USC, that had a connection with Kenny Pickett. Maybe, you know, that would make a better choice for him, and kind of have a, like Cincinnati did with Chase and Burrow. Or maybe Pittsburgh wants to get a left tackle. Although I will say I believe the line played a lot better the second half of the season than they did in the first half. So I don't know if I would really go out and draft a tackle or something in the first round. And then there's always free agency. You're going to have to fill some of your holes with free agents. So maybe Cincinnati fills the running back need and free agency, and that way in the draft they can focus on getting a left tackle. You know, there's a lot of possibilities that are going to be happening. It's going to be a fun off season to watch. I'm ready to watch the combine. I'm ready to watch the free agency, watching to see the big trades. As you know, there's going to be some blockbuster trades. There always are. And I believe that this draft could be one of the most exciting drafts to watch in some time. There's a lot of exciting players in this draft. A lot of players that you can draft to help your team get 1 or 2 more wins a year. So, yeah, I'm really excited for the offseason. And as a recap, I talked a lot of, you know, the team needs in the AFC North. I mentioned a few basketball games and talking about the Super Bowl. I think that the Eagles are going to win. Now, if you tune in next week, I'm going to have a really good show. You're not wanting to miss next week's show. I can guarantee you that. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon.